Hey Redeemer, good to see you again. Got a question for you as we enter hurricane season. If you can think of another disaster, if we enter that season and your house got destroyed by a hurricane, but you had all the funds you needed to rebuild it again, would you rebuild it the same, exactly the same? Or would you add some improvements? Listen to Isaiah 65, 17 through 19. Behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former things shall not be remembered or come into mind. But be glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem to be a joy, and her people to be gladness. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and be glad in my people. No more shall be heard in it the sound of weeping and the cry of distress. Genesis 1:1 used the phrase heaven and earth. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. At some undisclosed time in the past, God created everything, the universe. That's what heaven and earth means. And then it says that God rested on the seventh day from his creating work. He had completed the Garden of Eden, a perfect place for humans and God to dwell together in, and he was finished with that. But in a way, God has never been resting because he's always been sustaining his creation. And then Isaiah says there is more creating to do, a new heaven and a new earth, something that we're really waiting for. For Isaiah's people, Jerusalem is not where they are at the moment. They long for it to go back to Jerusalem. As a captured people in exile, they long to go back home. They think that's the place of God's blessing. That's the place where God really wants to dwell. And God must be approving of them if they are back in their home and God still has his temple. That's how they thought. But Jerusalem was never really the place that God wanted it to be. Israel really never represented God like they were supposed to do that. And even as they got released from their bondage and went back home, the city still never really represented what it was supposed to be. And so then God, in fact, destroyed it in 70 AD. John's revelation says that a new Jerusalem is coming down. A new Jerusalem is coming down from God out of heaven. But it's nothing other than Christ himself, the perfect dwelling place of God, the perfect temple. So, as we are in Christ, the church is also the temple of God, the New Jerusalem. Our future means God will be glad in us, and we will be glad. Our destiny is no more sadness and no more distress. Perhaps the pandemic is a good reminder for the church, for us, that this is all very, very temporary. We cannot control it, but we long for the peace and the joy that comes when Christ comes all the way down and dwells with us. I don't know what the new earth will be like, but I know Jesus will be there. And you and I will be there. On Sundays when we meet together, we'll be rehearsing what that will be like. That's what it means to come together again, to rehearse Jesus with us again in a new heaven and a new earth. I'll see you later.